Thank you for choosing to watch the Watchman News Headlines video. Our full episodes can now be seen over at Patreon with much more added content for just $2 a month. Link is in the description. If you cannot afford $2 a month, please consider using our Amazon affiliate link, purchasing from our Teespring store, or making a PayPal donation. All links are below. In order for us to grow, we have to make changes to enable it. Our time is valuable, and we have been one of the very few news sources actually dedicated to bringing you honest, hard-hitting, actionable news and information. Plus, for your $2 a month, you do not have to hear me blabber about these links. It's a win for us all.
Bullshit.
Thank you. Good evening, Watchmen and Watchwomen on YouTube. So, there was no show last night. Shortly before we go live last night, the internet went down. So, and it didn't come up until just like right before the show. And by that time, I didn't feel like trying to cram to get everything ready and to get live. So I just took the night off. So anyway, we are back tonight. We are ready with some headlines. I'll remind everybody that the end of the month is coming up, and what happens right after the end of the month? We have the beginning of the month, which is the perfect time to sign up over on Patreon. So that's where you'll see all kinds of added content, as well as get to see our monologues in full that you don't normally get to see over here on YouTube. So, and there's all kinds of stuff. Got 2 grow tents. You get to see what's in both grow tents over there on Patreon. And then just other various stuff. So I need to get posting over there more often. I've been slacking a little bit lately, but things will come back around. It's been relatively busy. So anyway, let's get to some headlines. I'm going to do 2 days of headlines because I wasn't here yesterday. So I'm going to catch up and going to start out with yesterday's news. All right. AstraZeneca may have used outdated info in vaccine trial. Surprise, surprise, huh? Kamala Harris says not today and laughs after being asked if she plans to visit crisis-riddled border. Germany to impose its harshest COVID-19 lockdown yet for Easter holiday as Merkel asked churches to hold online services only. Catastrophe declared in parts of New South Wales as torrential rains batter Australia, sparking spider plague. Outdated information may have skewed efficacy data from AstraZeneca COVID vaccine trial, U.S. Government Health Institute claims. Asian LNG buyers could form the world's next energy cartel. Moscow now has no relations with EU because Brussels has destroyed once friendly ties, Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov claims. People of Pompeii were killed in 15 minutes by avalanche of ash and gas, not lava, a study suggests. Russian tycoon Abramovich sues journalist and publisher behind Putin's People book over claim Putin ordered him to buy Chelsea. Chicago suburban city becomes first in U.S. to approve reparations for black residents. Media watchdog takes Facebook and France to court over hate speech failures. Turkey detains over 200 soldiers in raids over links to self-exiled Muslim cleric Gulen. Cash is turning into trash, just like Venezuela, says Max Kaiser. Australia's PM urges Parliament to get this house in order as female staffers stage protest after workplace sex videos leak. Rules-based international order is dead unless West finds a new way to accommodate Russia and China. It will reap a whirlwind. Scotland's Sturgeon misled parliamentary committee, says hotly awaited report in another potential breach of ministerial code. Beijing blasts Western sanctions over alleged human rights abuses, says door to China can no longer be opened with cannons. Baker, who declined service to gay couple, sued for refusing to make gender transition cake. 3 crew dead after catapults accidentally triggered during Tu-22M3 strategic bomber launch in Russia. Reopening economy before over 65s get COVID vaccine would spell trouble, Hungarian PM warns. UN calls on Turkey to reverse controversial withdrawal from European Convention on combating violence against women. Macron admits France will need new COVID-19 restrictions but promises vaccines morning, noon, and night. Many Canadians keep quiet about COVID stress, worry it will hurt their career, and are drinking more, says a report. New York nursing home burns to the ground, 1 resident dead and firefighter missing. CureVac COVID-19 vaccine shows 100% protection against South African variant in first-of-its-kind mouse study. Still on yesterday's news. Nanny who paraded down Moscow Street with severed head of 4-year-old girl she was supposed to be watching set for deportation. Biden must be held accountable for nightmare conditions at migrant facilities revealed in leaked photos. 15 dead and 400 missing after devastating fire at Rohingya refugee camp in Bangladesh. Denmark plans to reopen the country with corona passports and over 50 vaccinations. Oil nosedives as concern over third wave of COVID-19 crushes demand. Poll reveals big drop in number of Russians who claim to be Orthodox Christians in Islam becomes more popular with country's youth. Under threat of ban, Twitter has begun removing content prohibited in Russia, but Moscow says social network is acting too slowly. Again, we're on yesterday's news. Russia's Crimea expects record number of visitors with other tourist destinations closed to coronavirus restrictions. Mandatory vaccination against coronavirus would be wrong, says Russian Deputy PM, warning some citizens still distrust all jabs. Researchers knock out multiple genes at once in CRISPR gene editing game changer. UK government considering forcing care workers to get COVID vaccine, says Hancock. Chaos at Chinese-Russian border has increased sanitary requirements to halt spread of COVID-19, cause backlog of 70 cargo trains. Russian gas giant Gazprom asked Moscow to end plans to force use of domestic software as company faces $2.3 billion bill, says reports. Brussels backtracks on COVID-19 vaccine export ban threat, but says it wants a fair arrangement on jab sharing. Wokeopoly, Hasbro mocked over decision to scrap all Monopoly's community chest cards for refreshed versions. And I read this article the other day, or a similar one, and it didn't really sound that bad. It really didn't. It just sounded like they were more or less trying to be a little more up with the times with the different events and stuff that you would come across in community chest. It really didn't seem so much like it was a woke thing, you know. Anyway, police identify suspect in Boulder store shooting as Ahmad Alyssa and say they found no motive. Again, we're on Saturday's news. Arizona mayor declares state of emergency, says Biden administration sending busloads of illegal immigrants to his town. Biden urges ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines after Boulder attack. Armed motorcycle gang hold up bus carrying Belize national team ahead of World Cup qualifier in Haiti. Scottish First Minister Nicola Sturgeon survives no confidence vote after misleading Parliament over Alex Salmond complaints. Japan asked UN nuclear watchdog to review its plans and release Fukushima radioactive water into the ocean. Scientists produce a new map of life which they claim shows where species unknown to science may be found. Russian President Vladimir Putin receives first dose of COVID-19 vaccine as nationwide immunization campaign underway. Let's see. Officials say the gun that was used in the supermarket shooting was bought 6 days earlier. Obama calls on Biden, says people with power should finish his job and ban assault weapons. Let's see. Dutch PM Mark Rutte extends lockdown for another 3 weeks amid worrying COVID-19 spike. Israel votes. Netanyahu's fate hangs on Tuesday's elections. Of course, I'm on Saturday's, or not Saturday, Tuesday's, yesterday, whatever. North Korea fires short-range missiles in challenge to Biden administration, and he did that, I believe, over the weekend, if I'm not mistaken. But tonight, he lobs some more, so... Pentagon asked to house migrant children on military bases. When Trump mulled the idea, it was decried as concentration camps. No clear winner in Israeli election, but Netanyahu has upper hand in building a coalition. Outlandish and arrogant theft. Former CEO John Mates sues Parler and says company stole his ownership stake and fired him illegally. Giant container ship gets stuck in Suez Canal, blocking all traffic and sparking frantic effort to pull it free. Oldest U.S. journalist organization urges Biden to lift restrictions on visits to border facilities amid migrant surge. Reckoning for big tech. U.S. tech reform group calls for ban on invasive surveillance ads ahead of Congress disinformation hearing. Okay, now we're to this morning's news I started putting out. Hillary Clinton urges Biden to give COVID-19 vaccines to poor nations and complains that Russia and China lead in vaccine diplomacy. Kamala Harris set to talk women's empowerment with Bill Clinton, triggering collective eye roll. I mean, really? Make sure you change your dress, Kamala. Just make sure you change your dress. And he likes the really big cigars. But anyway, Meghan McCain papers over Trump mimicking Wuhan virus references, tossing them in anti-Asian racism trash heap. No consensus at NATO on Nord Stream 2 pipeline, says Stoltenberg. Senator Duckworth backtracks after vowing to vote against all straight, white Biden nominees and says she won't stand in the way. Hong Kong halts use of Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine as authorities investigate defective packaging. Bitcoin jumps after Musk says crypto will be accepted as payment for Tesla cars. Trafficking investigation launched over Philippines immigration officers sending women into slavery. Ukrainian soldier dies after receiving Indian-made AstraZeneca COVID-19 jab as army warns against drawing premature conclusions. Pentagon labored for more than 20 days to create mediocre anti-Russia meme, documents reveal. Well, how dare they? Russia says LNG production capacity could jump threefold by 2035. Hundreds of detained anti-coup protesters released in Myanmar, says the media. All options on the table for removing illegal migrants, says UK's Patel, not ruling out Gibraltar as asylum seeker processing center. Something like that. Russian state fund invests in Telegram as part of Messenger's $1 billion fundraising drive, despite country once trying to ban the service. COVID-19 to delay India's rise to world's third biggest economy, says Bank of America. Russia and China join forces to demand crunch UN Security Council talks over political turbulence as Moscow slams destructive U.S. So, if you're paying attention, Russia and China are doing all the diplomatic things that they would need to do before they would commit to such an act that would be considered war. So just kind of put that in the back of your cap. That's what they're doing. They are more or less like, here we've got the Constitution, we're supposed to be able to file our grievances and blah, blah, blah. That's essentially what they're doing. They're filing their grievances. So they're going to probably take every diplomatic route that they can, and when they can't get anywhere, that's when you'll see war. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. Beijing warns Five Eyes that an irritated China would be difficult to handle. COVID-19 jab queue jumpers posing as frontline healthcare workers, vaccination centers say. Study finds link between flu shots and protection from COVID-19 infection, but scientists don't understand why. A double mutant COVID-19 variant found in India, health officials say, as country battles big increase in daily cases. Massive container ship stuck in Suez Canal partially refloated. Traffic expected to resume shortly. Former Italian PM Berlusconi hospitalized again. Lawyer announces at court hearing. With EU suffering from COVID-19 vaccine shortage, WHO's top European official criticizes hesitation. Wow, I can't even talk, to accept Russian medicine. Hang on, I gotta have a vape. A lot of headlines for 2 days. I mean, a lot. Alrighty. Merkel cancels Germany's draconian Easter lockdown after facing widespread resistance. A worrying statistic shows 20% of Brits will go abroad even if it breaches UK government's COVID-19 rules. Russia boosts Arctic LNG shipments to China to meet growing energy demand. IDF unwittingly reveals where secret military bases are after publishing map of COVID-19 testing site in Israel, says the media. Well, that was brilliant. Kids were banned from talking about violence. Parents of young skaters to sue Moscow coach who allegedly beat the students. RT's boom bust looks at the battle between Amazon and its workers over better pay and benefits. Police hunting gunman who fired shots amid mass brawl at Florida MMA event as shocking new footage emerges. Banned experimental stimulants from 1940s found in multiple weight loss dietary supplements. Women under 50 suffer from more severe long-term effects of COVID, a UK study says. Brussels introduces new export authorization mechanism to slow COVID-19 vaccine shipments leaving the EU despite British protests. EU must stop playing for time, Turkey says, as it calls on bloc to expand customs union and allow Turks visa-free travel. Turkey tells U.S. purchase of Russian S-400 defense system is a done deal. Another big escalation. Don't dangle your dongle near me. Singapore tests Bluetooth devices to enforce COVID safe distance rules at business conference. So just be aware of where your dangle is so it doesn't get too close to the dongle. Utah governor signs bill to require cell phones and tablets to automatically block porn, but there's a catch. Nobody's coming after your guns, says Kamala Harris, who campaigned on coming after guns. Eurozone business activity rises for the first time in half a year as manufacturing sector shows signs of recovery. Man, I don't know why I'm getting winded so easily. Third stimulus check. House members want answers on Social Security delay. So apparently they've been dragging their feet. Social Security, the IRS says that it's because Social Security was supposed to deliver them some paperwork. They hadn't as of yet delivered that. Supposedly that's going to be delivered tomorrow. House members want an answer by no later than Friday as to what's going on when they plan on getting those payments out. So they want control. Hawley pushes back on calls for expanded gun control laws. Russian sisters who were charged with murder for killing their sexually abusive father now recognized by prosecutors as victims. Dangerous neighbor. Russia is becoming more and more authoritarian and NATO should push back, says EU Foreign Minister Borrell. Council of Europe report on Russian constitutional change slams disproportionate strengthening of President Putin's position. China must prove its trade promises to EU aren't just talk, U.S. Secretary of State Blinken says on investment deal. Police must avoid cracking heads because of scrutiny from RT, top Scottish law official says in explosive new report on brutality. Calls for Merkel to face vote of no confidence after embarrassing U-turn on COVID-19 Easter lockdown. France urges people not to gather over Easter as COVID surges, but religious services will be held. Gonna have a sip of tea and another vape, and I can't believe I'm so short of breath. It's odd. I can usually get the headlines out, no problem. Okay, court criticizes German watchdog for imposing data collection restrictions on Facebook as it refers case to Europe's top court. France targets AstraZeneca for unacceptable failure to honor contracts with EU as COVID-19 cases explode across the country. Liberal activist Michael Moore hammered for vile tweet attacking American culture after Colorado mass shooting. German researchers create, then erase false memories in people's minds. That is kind of concerning. Yesterday it was Trump. Tomorrow it could be anybody. Bernie Sanders not comfortable with Twitter ban on former president. Turkey reopens crossing points in Syria's Idlib after Russia points to dire humanitarian situation. Russia could offer COVID vaccine to foreign fans at Euro 2020 games in St. Petersburg, says a city official. FBI roasted over Boulder shooting after reports suggest suspect Alyssa was known to intelligence officials. Biden under investigation for freezing $1.4 billion in border wall cash. Plastics, other chemical pollutants are shrinking penis sizes and reducing fertility, imperiling human race, scientists claims. So, remember that. Stay away from the plastic. Boris Johnson says forced vaccination for care home staff responsible, but demanding jab certifications from pub goers up to landlords. Or certificates, whatever. Top Democrat reveals U.S. will miss Afghanistan withdrawal deadline and says Biden will ask Taliban for more time. Virginia abolishes something, the death penalty after killing 113 people in 45 years. Republicans complicit in mass shootings because they won't agree to Democrats' gun legislation, says Senator Blumenthal. I think you are off your meds. End of Merkel's era or show of strength. German politicians split over Chancellor's U-turn on Easter. Low Germany. Hey, that's what it says. Biden puts Kamala Harris in charge of border as he blames Trump and natural disasters for migrant surge. Democrats urge the FDA to clear market of all flavored e-cigarettes. Absolutely insane. North Korea fires missile into Sea of Japan in second launch this week, says reports. Man armed with 5 guns and wearing body armor arrested at Atlanta supermarket. There is no right to carry arms in public, a U.S. appeals court says in controversial ruling on gun rights case. I'm telling you, they are coming for them. Let's see. And Charlottesville mayor posts bizarre X-rated poem saying city rapes its residents. Okay. Anyway, I am out of here. Those are the headlines. I don't know why I'm so winded, but I certainly was tonight. Kind of concerning, but anyway, I am out of here. I hope you all have a good evening. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit, and shalom.